Word Laos.
Welcome to Travel Talk, brought to you by the Hotel Guide, the global voice of luxury and boutique hospitality. Featuring Edward Leos.
Good morning, everybody. Edward Leos here, publisher of the Hotel Guide and your host of Travel Talk. It's good to be back in the studio. Took a little bit of a hiatus, just kind of getting some big things off the ground and working. One of the big things that we had just recently come out was our THG Hospitality Index. You know, for the last 33 years, I've had the opportunity to really look at properties, brands from all levels, from originally limited services, extended stay to full service, luxury, resort, and beyond. And so after all through that 33 years, it's really given me an opportunity to kind of gauge and see where things is going, where the industry is going, particularly for the luxury and boutique properties, which we really are focused on here now at the Hotel Guide. So, you know, we created this hospitality index recently. It's been months in the works, and we just unveiled it recently and have gotten some great response from it. And so it's really about kind of measuring strategic factors that really separate category leading hospitality brands from those who are really just kind of competing on similarity rather than significance. And we really find that there's a thing called the authority gap. I'm really focused on the authority of a brand and what it means to the people that you're dealing with, right? So luxury today, it's really no longer defined solely by, you know, architecture, amenities, or even the services. You know, guests are increasingly kind of choosing brands that really kind of create an emotional connection, you know, tell memorable stories and really kind of establish a clear identity. So we're seeing a lot of the experiential travel side of things really taking shape into what the new luxury is going to be like, the new type of travel opportunities are. And basically the authority gap, what I think is important, is the difference between hotels that simply deliver exceptional stays and those that become destinations people actively seek, recommend, and remember, which is what we want. And so the Hospitality Index was created to help clarify and strengthen that difference. And so, as I was saying earlier, why do we actually create this, the THG Hospitality Index? You know, we've seen so many things, but one pattern over the years, it became impossible to ignore. Beautiful properties were becoming increasingly difficult to distinguish from one or another. There's been many times where, you know, you walked into a great property. I know I have, and something just sets it from other places where you go into another property and it's just like, wow, well, this is a really nice place, but what is it really turning into? How is it connecting with the guest? How is it making it more credible for them as they're moving things forward? And so as expectations continue to evolve, really long-term success for us, which we believe depends more on exceptional facilities. It depends on building a brand with an enduring authority. And so what does that mean? It means, how are you standing out? So we created this to really help organizations, brands, stand out, not only where they are now, but where they can strengthen their position tomorrow. And so how do we go about doing that? It's pretty simple. We created the 8 pillars of hospitality authority. And what are those 8 pillars? Let me go through that real quickly. And then what happens from there, you actually get a ranking in reference to what your score is, how you can improve. Why is this important, not just for hotels, but for travelers? It gives travelers the ability to understand what a property is really like from the inside out. It's not just about the great amenities. It's not just about what they're doing with all the facilities and the beautiful stuff. It's like, how are they working on the inside, and what's going to make me want to come back and not only become that, but become a brand advocate for that property as well. So we created the 8 pillars of hospitality authority. Number 1 is a narrative differentiation. The big thing is, does your brand tell a story guests cannot find anywhere else? That's a huge thing. How do you separate yourself when you're at a property? What separates you from everything else? The next thing is emotional positioning. Does the experience create emotional loyalty beyond the stay? You know, I've been to some properties where I still talk about to this moment in my podcast, in offline as well. And people are like, wow, was it that great? Yeah, it's that great. And so when you have that emotional positioning, it really helps a brand just stand out and just want you to become a brand advocate for them. Number three is cultural identity. How authentically does a property reflect its destinations? So there are many hotel brands or brands that pop themselves into a place and they don't really become part of the culture that's around them. I'm here in San Antonio, and there's some great properties that take part of the San Antonio culture and what they're doing. I know when I went to the Atlantis in the Bahamas, you're talking about these properties that just integrate the culture into their identity and make it part of their system versus, hey, we're just another brand that happens to be in your space. So cultural identity really matters. The next thing is executive visibility. Does leadership reinforce trust, vision, and brand credibility? It's not enough for you to just have a great property, but what does the leadership look like at your property? What does leadership mean, not only from the exterior, but how is it received on the interior? How's the staff looking? How do people look towards that? And what is the messaging going beyond those walls at your property? The next thing is experience originality. Are your experiences memorable or simply expected? Again, that goes back to how do you create just amazing brand advocates? How are you taking the experiences? And we already talked about how the importance of experiential travel is, but what does that look like in taking that to the next level? The next thing is number 6 is editorial readiness. Is your brand compelling enough to earn meaningful media attention? So how does that work with other brands? And so like when you look at the hotel guide, I look at when I do the hospitality index for our some of our properties, it's like, how are you going to fit into the ecosystem of what we're doing with the hotel guide in reference to helping you get that authority branding throughout what you're trying to accomplish as well? Is your brand compelling enough to earn meaningful media attention? So that's really big. It's not just, hey, here's a press release, we got this new thing going out. What are you doing to stand out and really take it to the next level? Number 7 is digital authority. How effectively does your digital presence reinforce your credibility and influence? Nowadays, social media is so important to any brand. It's important to the hotel guide. It's important to every brand that we deal with. Which is why in our ecosystem, we have multiple ways of attacking that through different facets, not only through our emails, through our social networks, through the website, through the digital magazine, but how is your brand taking your digital presence and reinforcing it to really create credibility and influence? That's what gets people going and is another key indicator on how they're going to want to be a part of what you're doing and take part in going to your property and not only staying there, but becoming those advocates you want. And the last thing for us that we rank is our partnership alignment. Does the brand align with organizations that elevate long-term positioning, not only from the interior, but from the exterior? How is that property or that brand working with other places to create long-term positioning and setting yourself apart? And so what we like to do with the hospitality index is it's very, very simple, pretty simple. All I need is your website, your social networks, maybe some information on your property from there. And all of a sudden, we're able to create this executive summary for you. That's a one-page executive summary. And then from there, you have the ability to sit down with us and go, hey, what was it look like for a 12-month authority package that kind of comes out and lets people understand how can I get my brand to go to the next level and really help stand out? And so this isn't a pitch for anything, but this is for hotels that are looking to stand out: luxury hotels, boutique hotels, independent resorts, destination resorts, wellness retreats, luxury lodges, and DMOs. This is about what is a tourism organization look like? What does a city look like in terms of their brand, their authority, their voices, and being able to stand out amongst all the noise? So we have created something that is a proprietary engine that we can put in the right information, and it pops out not only a strategic executive assessment, but it also can help you create a 12-month long plan to create your authority to the next level. And so I think it's really important, not only for the companies that we deal with, the brands we deal with, but also the travelers, because now you're going to be able to come and see if these are THG Hospitality Index authority ranked properties based on their scoring. And this is going to be out there where people are going to be able to learn a little bit more about the brands, the properties from the inside out. I'm really excited about what we're doing here at the Hotel Guide. This is going to be a huge asset for all of our partners that we have dealt with over the last 33 years and coming forward. So, hey, if you're interested in learning a little bit more, hit me up at erleos@thehotelguide.com. We can run a free assessment for you as well and get you that one-page executive summary. But for travelers, this is going to be huge for you because now you're going to get to see and understand exactly what properties are like, what their rankings are, and how they can get better at what they're doing as well. So it's information for the traveler and it's information for the brands themselves. So I think we've kind of touched on a lot of things today, but this is really geared towards helping brands get better at what they're doing to help them stand out and just take it to the next level. So as I like to always say, travel, make memories. Please like, please share, please follow us. Share this content as we're continuing to grow because we know that as we get better, we're going to offer better things for all of our listeners and our readers out there. And you could be one of those people that can really benefit from what we're doing. So until the next time, travel, take care, and we'll talk soon.